It's always interesting how a singular event can cause a ripple effect that grows with every opportunity it gets. In the case of the Star Wars universe, we're speaking of The Mandalorian. Why? Because just before its arrival, the Star Wars universe was at a major crossroads due to, well, lackluster movies. But when that show arrived, it changed everything. It was a different tale in a different light, focusing on a very different character. And through it, we got to see the rebirth of a classic Star Wars character, Boba Fett. And Boba Fett is now getting his own series. So allow us to show you the Book of Boba Fett, details and first looks. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 6. Boba Fett. Before we dive into his upcoming series, we need to discuss the history of Boba Fett so far. You see, he was the son of the bounty hunter Jango Fett, and by son, we mean clone. His father was part of the plot by Darth Sidious to make a clone army, and Jango was dubbed the worthy specimen to go and have all the clones be based on. In return for doing this, he got to have a son in Boba. Eventually, on the Battle of Geonosis, Jedi Master Mace Windu killed Jango during a fight, leaving a very bitter and vengeful Boba Fett to take his place. Via the Clone Wars cartoon, we got to see Boba start to take his place as his father's successor, even taking on Mace Windu in his own way. Fast forward a few decades and we see Boba as one of the best bounty hunters in the galaxy. He was tasked by Jabba the Hutt to go and get Han Solo after he was betrayed by him, and that's exactly what he did. But when Luke Skywalker came to rescue his friend, things got hairy, and Boba ended up in the Sarlacc pit. And this is where things get a bit tricky. You see, as per canon, that was where his story ended until the books and comics in the original universe came out. After he got out of the pit in that timeline, he went and raised his own band of Mandalorians to go hunting and even trained the kids of Han Solo, believe it or not. And one of them even went to the dark side. But when Disney went and bought all of Lucasfilm, it went and made everything except for the mainline movies and the Clone Wars cartoons non-canon. As a result, Boba Fett was stuck in the Sarlacc pit again. Until number 5, The Mandalorian Season 2. In the second season of The Mandalorian, Mando was on a mission to go and find Jedi in order to help Baby Yoda. No, we're not calling him by his real name, he is Baby Yoda. And that led him to Tatooine for the second time. When he died, he found the armor of Boba Fett, and after working out a deal with a mercenary, he got it back and aimed to return it to Mandalore. However, after a lot of high-space hijinks, he found himself at the literal mercy of Boba Fett after the bounty hunter tracked him down to get his armor back. Oh, and he had Fennec Shand, whom Mando thought was dead during his first visit to Tatooine, at his side. After giving the armor back upon proof of ownership, naturally, Boba and Mando teamed up to get Baby Yoda back, even recruiting other Mandalorians to go and do just that. After repaying his debt though, Boba and Fennec went back to Tatooine, and the two shot up the former palace of Jabba the Hutt. In doing so, setting himself up as the new crime lord of Tatooine, which brings us to number 4, The Book of Boba Fett. At present, we honestly don't have too much knowledge on what the Book of Boba Fett is going to be like, mainly because it was easily one of the best kept secrets from Disney and Lucasfilm. Boba's return was leaked, but not a series featuring him, since Baby Yoda. However, we do have some clues as to what we can possibly expect from it. First and foremost, it will be different from The Mandalorian in various ways, because as Boba noted to Mando during the series, he has no loyalty to Mandalore, their homeworld, and he's out for himself in many ways. Which means that you definitely won't have to worry about a similar Baby Yoda storyline to happen here, because he's not the type to go and do that. Another thing you can expect is that the show will be aiming to be grittier than the main series due to who the character is. This comes not from us, but the stuntman for the series, Brendan Wayne, who stated, "I think that's what we as an audience, are going to get from the Book of Boba Fett. A lot more of that kind of feel. He gets even grittier than Mando did. I feel like he doesn't have the choice because he really was a different kind of character." Furthermore, the man himself, Temuera Morrison, disclosed that the show will delve further into Fett's past during the original trilogy, showing no doubt his lead up to being hired by Jabba as well as how he got out of the Sarlacc pit, which Morrison noted during Season 2 of Mandalorian that he had no idea how he got out. And given that this series is being titled The Book of Boba Fett, it does seem to indicate that this will be a retelling of the major points in his life. But how far back or forth that'll go is unclear, as we only know 2 people cast via Morrison as Boba and Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shand. But we do know, number 3, the people behind the camera. The Book of Boba Fett features the return of some acclaimed directors from the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, Temuera Morrison has confirmed. We've got some great directors on board: Robert Rodriguez, Jon Favreau, Bryce Dallas Howard, Dave Filoni. This according to Morrison in an interview with the Daily Express. He also revealed that Ming-Na Wen's Fennec Shand will be just as important to the Book of Boba Fett as Boba himself. It's a duo thing, he said. Jon Favreau, of course, is the creator of The Mandalorian, who also serves as an executive producer on the series alongside Dave Filoni of Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels fame. Favreau and Filoni returned to executive produce The Book of Boba Fett alongside Sin City director Robert Rodriguez. To date, Favreau has written the vast majority of The Mandalorian's episodes, as well as directed one, that being the Season 2 premiere, Chapter 9, The Marshal. Filoni has directed 3 Mandalorian episodes thus far: Chapter 1, The Mandalorian, Chapter 5, The Gunslinger, and Chapter 13, The Jedi. Meanwhile, Bryce Dallas Howard has helmed 2 Mandalorian episodes, Season 1's Chapter 4, Sanctuary, and Season 2's Chapter 11, The Heiress. Finally, it was Rodriguez who helmed Season 2's Chapter 14, The Tragedy, which prominently features Morrison in the role of Boba Fett. So as you can see, there is a lot to look forward to here, as this is a team who really has come together to flesh out the universe. And now that they have another viewpoint to do that with, it's only a question of how big to push things. Number 2. Crime Empire. As noted in our rundown of Boba's history, his current position in terms of life in regards to the Mandalorian universe is that he's now ruling over Jabba the Hutt's former kingdom, which means he's going to have to do certain things to not just assert power, but keep it. Which also means he's going to have a target on his back for doing what he did, and from those who want to take him out and take the power for themselves. This could lead to a lot of interesting stories, especially given Boba's shoot-first mentality, though he could bring in some old allies to help him. Number 1. Bounty Hunters. Boba Fett spent much of his life as a bounty hunter, even assembling them to do certain jobs over time. As such, with him now back in control of his life and rocking some fresh armor, it only makes sense that he'd go and find some of his old bounty hunter buddies to try and grow his empire with. Or it could be that some of those old friends get hired to try and kill him. That could be an option as well. Either way though, the bounty hunter world is very likely to be explored even further via a man who has been there for nearly his whole life. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the Book of Boba Fett and how things are going to potentially go given who's behind the scenes with it? Are you excited for this series that's coming this year? What do you personally hope to see with it? Do you just want Boba Fett to get his due? What are some of Boba Fett's old assassin friends that you're dying to see in the show? Which ones do you think will come back as a friend, and which ones will come back as foes? Will we get more Baby Yoda? Do you think this show could be the godfather of the sci-fi genre? If so, is that a good thing? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.